Okay, I'm not going to dwell on the fact that it's been a couple of weeks again. Just know that it wasn't intended, but I'm glad to be back. Hi, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here, and welcome to another book review. Today I wanted to share with you what I thought of a new release, and that is The Summer Job by Lizzy Dent. This is a book that has recently come out. I believe it actually came out this week, so the 18th of May. So if you watch this video and you think, oh actually, I quite like the sound of that, you can get your hands on it straight away, which I always think is a bonus, because quite often when people are talking about pre-releases, you're like, oh, I really want to read it now. I get that sort of FOMO, but it has literally just come out. So you can pop onto Amazon, dare I say it, or go into your local bookshop and pick this one up right now. So this is actually a debut novel, and I have heard people say that it's being turned into a TV series. What a debut. That your first novel gets picked up and the rights get bought for it to be made into a TV series. I mean, that's pretty good going, isn't it? I was very kindly approved to read a pre-release of The Summer Job. That's how long ago that I read this. It's now come out. And it was on my sort of TBR pile within NetGalley. And then I heard Faye from Faye's Fix talking about this book. If you don't watch Faye, I will link her channel in the description below. She does a lot of lifestyle content, but quite often she'll talk about books that she's read or she's been sent, and The Summer Job was one of those. And she said basically that she had binged this book and read it within a couple of days. So I decided that I needed to put this to the top of my TBR pile. You can see how easily I'm influenced, can't you? So the story follows Birdie, whose real name is Elizabeth Finch. Her best friend Heather is a very well respected sommelier. I really hope that's how you pronounce it. And Heather has been offered a job at a hotel cum restaurant in the Scottish Highlands, but instead, after having accepted the job, decides that she would actually prefer to head off to Italy with her boyfriend. Heather, understandably, is getting quite stressed about letting the hotel know that actually she can't accept the job any longer. And Birdie can see just how stressed Heather is getting. So she says to her, don't worry, I'll call them for you, I'll let them know, you head off to Italy. But Birdie sort of doesn't really have a lot going on in her life. She's in a dead-end relationship, she doesn't really have anywhere to live, and so she finds herself pretending to be Heather, confirming that she'll be taking the job, and ending up at the hotel pretending to be a top sommelier, knowing nothing about wine, I would like to say. And it turns out that when Heather was talking about the job, she was sort of saying, oh, you know, it's this sort of rundown hotel in the middle of nowhere, I can't think it's going to be a particularly, you know, tough job. So Birdie thought she could get away with it, and it turns out when she arrived at the hotel, the website hasn't quite been updated recently. So the hotel has had a massive renovation, and actually the sommelier is a very important job within the hotel. It's a Michelin-starred restaurant, and obviously what comes with that is expensive, nice wine. I mean, you can probably tell from how I'm talking, I know nothing about wine, but we'll get onto that in a moment. We're back. Apologies if the shot has changed a bit. My memory card just told me it was full. Very helpful halfway through a video. So where was I? So while Birdie is pretending to be a wine expert within a Michelin-starred restaurant and in a really sort of top-end luxury hotel, of course there has got to be a love interest. I mean, it wouldn't be a chick lit without it, would it? I'm assuming that this is classed as chick lit. To me, it feels like it. Yeah, so there is obviously a hot chef who works in the kitchen of the restaurant, and Birdie becomes quite close with him. Let's just say that. The book does actually touch on some kind of grittier topics. So we've got childhood abandonment, alcoholism, neglect, and although they're sort of not the main theme of the book and we don't learn a huge amount about it, I think it's actually quite important that those bits are in there. Otherwise I think the story might have been a bit too sickly sweet, I loved the setting of this book. I mean, the Scottish Highlands, quite often Birdie is up in the morning going for a walk around the lochs. It's somewhere that I have always wanted to visit, so that really added something extra to the story. There was a real sense of family, of belonging, of sort of friendship in this book, and again that made me feel, along with the setting, it made me feel quite cozy, and I love that from a book. I must say that I struggled to get into it a little bit at first. I wasn't immediately drawn in. I didn't find myself sort of really wanting to pick it up. I think it was about halfway through that I started to feel really immersed in the story. So if you are going to pick this up and you feel as though, oh, hang on a minute, it's a bit of a slow start, give it a bit of time. Not a huge amount happens in this book, and I was thinking about this, and I think it's because recently I have been reading a lot more thrillers, which obviously is very fast-paced. I still think there is a time and place for these kind of books, and don't get me wrong, I will not be moving away from this genre. It's probably still my favourite genre to read, but I do feel as though I'm finding myself being a bit like, come on, can we pick up the pace a little bit? And I found that a bit with this book, but bear that in mind that I am reading more thrillers, so that could have an impact on why I'm feeling like that. You may pick it up and not feel like that at all. As I was mentioning just a second ago, I have no idea when it comes to wine. I think probably in my life, and this will shock a lot of people, I think in my entire life I've probably had a maximum of 10 glasses of wine. I don't think I've ever drank red wine, not even a glass. I just don't like the taste of it. So parts of this book, I guess, were a little bit lost on me, because while Birdie is at the hotel, she is in her spare time, in her evening, she tucks herself away into her room and she tries to learn everything that she would need to know in order to sort of come across as someone who knows what they're talking about. So there is quite a lot about wine in this book. There's also quite a lot about food. I guess the two go hand in hand. So if you're someone who's a foodie, someone who really likes their wine and enjoys chick lit, I mean, this has got it all for you. Definitely pick this up. It's a bit of a mixed one for me. I am going to score The Summer Job by Lizzy Dent 3.5 stars out of 5. It was really good. I enjoyed it. I don't know if it will necessarily be a story that sticks with me or that I would particularly, you know, rave about to people, but I enjoyed it still. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. As I always say, if you have enjoyed this video, please give it the thumbs up, because it really helps YouTube recommending my content, which in turn helps my channel so much. So yeah, please give it the thumbs up. And if you're watching this and you haven't already, but you enjoy book reviews of popular fiction, thrillers, chick lit, historical fiction, it's quite eclectic, quite a mix, please press subscribe and come and join us. I have a lot more content coming your way. I have so many ideas, I just need to find the time to film. So fingers crossed. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again back here next weekend, where I hope to have another book review for you. Take care.